Hey there, guys. It's time. It's Dating Tips Tuesday, and I have a really, really juicy topic I'm so excited to talk about. And I'm really thrilled because I have such an awesome opportunity to connect with so many great people on all aspects of love and dating and really making that special connection. I am Jacqueline, your professional matchmaker with Discover Love Matches. And as I've been a matchmaker for over 8 years, I also have for many years before that been doing spiritual work for an extensive amount of individuals on their love life and personal journey. And honestly, the number one topic that comes up for my clients is about sex and intimacy. There is such an unknown of what to do next, especially if you were maybe in a long-term relationship and now you're out dating, or you kind of had a bunch of hit and miss dating situations and you're really not sure what to do. I'm a big believer in kind of learning how to adjust as time changes, circumstances adjust in the fact that maybe you're young and wanting to start a family, you're going to be different about sex and intimacy. If you are older and already have the kids and you're really looking for that partner just for you, not somebody necessarily to raise a family with, you're going to be different with sex and intimacy. And one of my absolute favorite stories that I've shared before, but it always is prime with this, is I had this amazing, incredible client who one time asked one of my ladies over for dinner. And before she would agree to go to dinner, she contacted me and said, I'm not ready to have sex with him. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she goes, he invited me to have dinner and he was going to make me a home cooked meal. And her feeling was that if she went to his home, it was foreplay to end up being sexual. So I contacted him and I let him know where she was coming from and to see what he thought. And he stops and goes, oh my goodness, all those wonderful women that I've made dinner for and I've sent them home after dinner. And he never realized that women were either saying yes or no to dinner at his house, not because of the dinner, but because they didn't know what was going to happen next. And it was really an eye-opener for him. It was an eye-opener for her. And as the matchmaker, learning from both men and women, it was an eye-opener for me of how many times people are either misdoing things and they're misunderstanding things and they're missing opportunities for communication. So thankfully she had me in the middle, but you don't usually have an in-between person that could say, hey, could you ask them? Could you find out really where they're coming from? I really appreciate it. And so it's one of those situations where we do overthink things, but we do need to clarify it because I'm sure he was a great cook and he would have sent her on her way afterwards. And she would have probably been like, what? He didn't make a move on me. Even though I don't want to have sex, I don't quite understand. So it was really good that it was all clarified. Thankfully, he is happily married to a gorgeous gal and life is wonderful. So it worked for him eventually to make dinner for just the right lady. But I want you to really stop and think where you're coming from. I recently did a survey, as I love to do occasionally for my videos. And one of the things I asked was, what does it take to go to someone's house? How much time? What are you thinking? And the response is more often that women are more apt to go to a man's home than have him come to her home. And I think really there's something about the fact that ladies kind of like to know that they can leave if they need to and that they can go for as long as they're comfortable and then leave. But then also there's a lot of that wonderfulness when you have somebody. There's a great lady that I know and she just created an amazing atmosphere for a gentleman she was dating, and she knew he'd had a rough day and had him come over and just said, hey, you go enjoy a nice bath. I put candles in there, nice towels, and just put on some soft music and created an atmosphere. It wasn't about sex. It was about acknowledging on an intimate level, I want you just to relax. I want you just to take some time out and refuel before you come and join me out on the couch and watching a movie. So we have to kind of think of what's that message we have coming across. And also in my survey, I was asking about just how much people want to be intimate and how long has it been. And for most of the people, it's been a while, but that doesn't mean the desire's not there. And honestly, ladies are asking for it more than men in my private appointments. Ladies are asking for more of a romantic and sexual connection. They're wanting someone to be close to. And I think our society doesn't quite realize women's needs and wants and desires. And so for all of you men that are listening, step it up. This is a chance for you. There are ladies that would like to get close. They'd like to feel a connection. They really want this next level of intimacy and sex. And I love the response I got was a bunch of the questions of just how much people are enjoying being sexual. They're just not having enough opportunities to really make that connection. And that's the big difference as we get older and life is changing. It really depends what your ultimate goal is. Are you looking for a forever partner? Are you looking for just a sweet connection? Are you looking to figure it out as you go? Like, you get to decide. It's your dating journey and it's your process. And it's also really important to know what you want before you go on the date. I know many of people that are strong believers of having sex on the first date. I don't promote that. I think it's important to get to know somebody enough that you feel a connection. So I did ask in this survey, how long does it take until you feel ready to be intimate with somebody? And, you know, back in the day, we would go a long time, wait till we're engaged, wait till we are in a exclusive committed relationship. But nowadays, people are responding with, well, 4 to 6 weeks. Some people saying 2 to 3 dates. Some people saying that, you know, you really just don't know. And I want you to think about what you want. You're getting hit by so many different angles on sexual intimacy, wants of other people, but what do you want? Do you want to have an active sexual relationship? Every person that responded to my survey said they want to be able to be sexually intimate daily to every other day. There was no big gap in between. They really want this connection. And I think that from what's happening in a lot of long-term relationships, there's a lot of sexless marriages out there. And 50% of the people responding to me said they had been in a sexless relationship. And I want people to start honoring themselves, honoring that connection, and getting that flirting going. We miss the opportunity to physically connect, even if it just means a sweet hug. It can be a handshake. It can be eye contact. It can be a laugh. It can be so many subtle things that we really need to stop in this busy, busy, busy world and hone in on making a connection. There's nothing like having somebody that just wants to hold you or be close or sleep together in a loving way. It's so often we forget how much that intimacy counts, and that's what people are craving. The human touch is getting so separated from the standpoint that we're online too much. We're not seeing humans, we're not connecting, and we need to have that. We need it for so many reasons, skin to skin, and just laughter and hearing another person's voice, watching their facial expressions, getting that connection. It's a huge reason why I do in-person events, because I want people to just enjoy eyes spying across the room to somebody, feeling the juices flowing. There's nothing as exciting as that anticipation of somebody new. I remember once I had a date with somebody and a bunch of things were going on and I had to end the date early from family things. And at the end, I had to step out and he just stopped and he gives me this big, huge hug. And I'm so used to guys trying to get a kiss at the end. He didn't. He just gave me like the most comforting, acknowledging hug. And it was awesome. And then it made me want it more. I was so like frustrated because I'm going, gosh, I really want to get to know this person more, because he stopped and paused to see where I was coming from, what I needed. And he didn't try anything extra. And that made a lasting impression. Where there's other dates where they're like, oh my gosh, I want to kiss you before we even leave the building. And that left a lasting impression. And I knew that they were a good kisser, so we were good to go. So I want you to think about, what is it that you're willing to do? Where are you on this thought process? And like when I asked on my survey, how well do you need to know somebody before you have sex? And one of the persons said, a lot better than I do. And, the thing is, it's natural human instinct to want to be sexual and be intimate. The question is, what type of people are you choosing? How are you communicating when you're being sexual? Are you getting your needs met? Are you feeling closeness? Or do you feel more distant afterwards? I want you to really think about what's going on in your heart, what's going on in your mind, and what is your goal? What is your objective? Are you just trying to kind of have a good time, have fun? Are you trying to figure out more about your own sexual identity? Are you looking to find that person that you want to wake up with every single day? Love is not something on a timeline. You don't get to necessarily pick who you fall in love with, but you do get to decide where you nurture it, where do you give your attention. And so it's that level of closeness. I'm always kind of watching people and seeing how couples either sit close to each other and have their arms kind of touching, or they touch one another's hands. And there's an intimacy you can feel even at a restaurant or a coffee shop. And then there's people you can just tell they probably have not even held hands in the longest time. And there's a new show on Netflix that was talking a lot about different countries and how they share intimacy. And it's so interesting how we deny ourselves the opportunity to just enjoy the pleasure of really connecting and loving on somebody. And it's not just closed door connection, it's about being out there. And there was this great group, this couple actually, that have created a great group in Japan, where one day a year these men stand on a platform and they just scream out to their loved one how much they love them, because in that culture it is not as publicly displayed as it is here in the United States. So we have to really think about how much people are craving that. It doesn't matter where you live, where you are in your relationship journey, that need for touch and connection is so real and so wanted and so desired. But I feel like what's happening when I talk to my clients, I'm hearing that they're not getting their needs met. They're not sure how to speak up, or it's been so long. I mean, there's many of my clients that it's been years since they've been intimate. And it's not that they don't want to be, they just haven't found somebody to make that connection with. And I think we do get a lot in our heads, and we forget that as much as you might have that want and need, chances are the other person does too. So why not start talking about it? Why not understand one another? If you're dating someone and your sexual intimacy isn't that great, make a genuine effort to connect with your partner. Ask them what they need. Ask them what they want. You'd be surprised how much you're missing out on. Last year we did our Discover Love Academy, and we had this incredible couple that did 4 different classes during the year. And I will tell you, they were the highest rated videos because they talk real about loving one another and being sexually intimate and truly treasuring your partner. So I want you just to know it's real. People want this, desire it. If you're wanting it, chances are the person you're dating is wanting it too. But you need to take some time out. So I just want you to pause at the end of watching this video, of course, after you like and subscribe, and write down, what are you looking for? What kind of a partnership do you want? How much closeness, intimacy? Are you looking for somebody that spends the night once a week, somebody who's going to live with you right away? A lot of people love to move in right away and have that. Other people want to have someone that they see a couple times a month. What is that? What are you looking for? Are you looking for that PDA? Do you like to flirt when you're at the restaurant? Do you like to flirt when you're walking down the street? Are you the people like the other night I was out with a friend and all I was watching this couple, there were a whole lot of couples making out. It was a hot night at this simple little restaurant, but all of a sudden I heard thud and I was like, oh my gosh, and I look at my friend and these 2 people sitting at the bar were no longer, and then suddenly they came up. Well, those 2 had been making out at the bar so hard that they both fell over. Of course, that's when you yell out in your own mind, go get a room. But there was so much intense passion and energy between the 2 of them that they didn't even realize that they were going kapoots. So I want you to have that kind of excitement and anticipation, not necessarily fall over in a chair, but everybody just looks so much better when you're feeling sexy, when you're feeling excited, when you're feeling energized. So take some time to think about what you want. What kind of a sexual intimacy relationship do you want when you find your person? It's so easy to get caught up in the, oh, I just want a nice person. I want somebody to do things with. I want somebody that's got good character and morals. And, all those things are great. But what kind of things do you want that's just between you two? That's part of the neat thing of a long-term monogamous relationship. What do you want? So take some time to think about your needs and wants, because then you can bring them to the conversation on your dating. And I have a feeling if you're thinking some good, juicy, yummy thoughts, when you're on a date, your flirting's gonna notch it up, because I think some people are kind of stale in the flirting and they're so business brain and so checklist. I want you to think the good thoughts. I want you to enjoy the good thoughts and let the other person know they're beautiful and gorgeous and you love their eyes and their smile and their laughter. And, touch and contact is so important. And it's often the first thing people crave. Now, when I've done a survey asking, what do you miss about your ex? The number one thing was the sexual intimacy. So even when you have somebody in your past that you miss, I'll tell you, you're not alone, because if you're missing that sexual intimacy that you enjoyed with that person, even if you're not together and you're not trying to get back together, they're probably missing it too. So there's a chance that when you meet somebody new, you can leave a lasting impression with somebody you stay with. So get your flirt on, get your groove going, and have some fun thinking about what you want to bring to the relationship. Why would somebody want to take the relationship to the next level with you? And what are your boundaries and guidelines? And where do you fit in that spectrum? And where are you a little flexible? All right, so like, subscribe, and add some comments. I want to know what you're thinking, because this is just the beginning and we've got the conversation started.